A very good morning and welcome to WTV News. My name is Zawadi Mdibo. We begin with good news where situated east of the Central Business District, the Gikomba market is the top second-hand cloth or mitumba clothes market. It has been a victim of serious recent fires which result into loss of property worth millions of shillings. And the good news, a section of traders who lost their stock in the recent fire, which was about 2 months ago, got some reprieve from Opportunity Kenya, which is a microfinance institution that compensated 17 of them at a cost of 15 million shillings. We have details of that story next.
In the recent past, Gikomba market has hit the headlines for all the wrong reasons, from the unstoppable fires to a deadly terror attack. Every time there is such a tragedy, the number of the victims remains as statistics to many people, but to those directly affected, it is a personal affair. Such fires destroy property worth millions of shillings, and so the compensation from Opportunity Kenya could not have come at a better time. Following the fire that engulfed Gikomba market about 2 months ago, Opportunity Kenya, an entity owned by Opportunity International, has compensated its clients who were affected by the fire outbreak.
Friday, we were giving out checks to 17 customers who suffered a fire that broke in the month of May, 12th of May, around the fish market. Of course, those were not the only affected people, because the fish market has hundreds of customers and millions of investments, but the 17 were all Opportunity Kenya customers.
The move is meant to motivate the traders to continue with the business routine.
Tulikuwa tumechomewa kabisa, tuko chini kabisa. Na vile tulipata hiyo pesa, tuliona ile pesa ni mzuri sana na tumeanza kuleta kazi kidogo kidogo ili tuweze kuendelea na maisha vile tulikuwa zamani.
Cases of fire at the open air market are usually blamed on electric faults, and the traders urge the government to step up its firefighting strategy during disasters.
What the government should do, wange hire security ambayo wako expert. Security ambayo ilikuwa hapa wako expert. Wange hire security kama ya GF4 ambayo wako na vitu muhimu ya kupambana na moto. Alafu tena wako trained kwa mkasa kama hizo.
The compensation also comes as a wake-up call to the traders to take customized products from insurers to cater for the risks faced every day in the busy market. The CEO of Opportunity Kenya has also urged the government to consider constructing a road that passes through the busy market to make area accessible in the event of fire.
And moving on, steady progress has been made in the fight against child mortality rates in Kenya. And this development has been attributed to improved health systems, which have reduced the mortality rate of children by 2/3 in the past 2 decades. Now, the health practitioners, however, do caution against complacency in efforts geared towards completely combating these deaths.
Medical experts have lauded the government for its determined efforts to ensure that child mortality is eradicated in the country. However, the health professionals have feared that death for the newborn babies, especially those below 1 month, is still at high.
Deaths in children have reduced in Kenya over the years, which is a good thing. But when we compare ourselves with the targets set by the world, we have still not achieved them. If you break it down and we have children who are between 1 year and 5 years, those deaths are reducing because there is good interventions for malaria and there is good intervention for several other conditions, including HIV. But when you look at the deaths for the children who are below 1 year, many of them are still dying, and they are dying more in the first 1 month, the so-called newborn death. So our newborn deaths have not changed much, and that's probably where the biggest problem is.
Statistics indicate that children under the age of 5 who die from malnutritional diseases in the world have greatly reduced from 20 million in 1990 to about 7 million last year. And although the government has rolled out programs to combat child mortality, Dr. Washira says that the country needs to have stable leadership that comprehends the magnitude of child health.
Some of the problems that we have in the country is one is lack of engagement by the leaders. Kenya is largely driven by political leadership, and our political leadership don't seem to have to comprehend the magnitude of child health in this country. You know, even when you look at simple things like budget allocation, we have not yet achieved what is recommended, the 15%. If you look at our county government, the devolved units, again they are still grappling. They're still struggling to understand what priorities there are. If you look at simple things, what kills our newborns, what kills our children, those things are not being addressed.
First Lady Margaret Kenyatta, who has been instrumental to eliminate child mortality through the Beyond Zero campaign, says that, and I quote, "It is unacceptable that while Kenya is making some steady strides toward reducing child mortality, newborn deaths continue to remain high," end of quote. But according to Dr. Wachira, child issues should be taken beyond the policy-making level and be prioritized among national agendas.
We need to prioritize child health as an issue. We need to prioritize newborn health as an issue. You know, we should make it. All mothers should have access to whatever they are going to give birth. There should be good follow-up during the pregnancy. At the point of delivery, all mothers should have someone who can take care of that newborn, and even all mothers should be educated or informed how to identify common problems that do occur at home for the newborns.
As at last year, 43% of births in Kenya were attended by trained health personnel against a 2015 Millennium Development Goal target of 90%. This means that the government should ensure that there is enough medical personnel as one way of ensuring that child mortality is reduced.
Well, despite the stern law prohibiting early child marriages in Kenya, the cultural practice is still rampant, and there are individuals in society who are worth celebrating due to their efforts in trying to curb the dangers and also empower our young ladies on the vices. Josephine Claire is one such person in Samburu. Here is her story.
Article 53 of the Constitution talks about elimination of all harmful cultural practices such as early marriages and all forms of abuse and violence against children. Research shows that child marriage is high among girls compared to boys. Ms. Josephine Kulea has gone to great heights to rescue young girls from early marriage and to give them education.
Samburu Girls Foundation is an NGO based in northern Kenya, actually Samburu County. We started 2 years ago addressing harmful cultural practices facing the girl child among the Samburus. But within the years, we've been able to reach out to other communities practicing the same, like communities in Marsabit, Isiolo, and Laikipia counties. Yeah, so there are three main issues we are trying to address. Female genital mutilation, which is still 100% among the Samburu, and child marriages, where we have 8, 9, 10-year-olds getting married. And then we have bidding, where the young men are allowed to pick girls from their clans and buy them beads, then they can sleep with them. And these girls end up getting pregnant and the babies are not wanted, so they undergo crude abortion or they wait for them to deliver and then they kill the babies.
A nurse by profession, Ms. Josephine felt it's time to sacrifice and build a powerful and respectful generation of Samburu women with honor.
So we've been trying to rescue both those girls before they undergo their abortion and the babies for safety. So yeah, in the 2 years we've been able to rescue 169 girls and 25 babies, and all our girls are in schools. The babies are in different children's homes, others are in foster care, and a few we've reconciled with the families and they're staying with the girls' babies.
To make the world a better place to live in, the likes of Ms. Josephine should be given support, and more people who are able to sacrifice their time and lives for such a young generation. They should be recognized for supporting the overall girl-child development in our modern world.
The recent nullification of police recruitment drive in the country owing to massive bribery claims was welcomed by many. But careful. Is it the physical attribute of the exercise of the competence of the recruits that really counts? We have that story in detail.
On the 14th of June this year, history was made. 10,000 young Kenyans were recruited for the position of police constables, the highest number of recruits in the history of the Kenya Police. After a long day, queuing for hours, going through tedious fitness and medical tests, these young men and women got the job. But shock on them, reports indicated that the process was marred with malpractices, and the whole practice in 36 centers was cancelled.
It is very sad that this is happening after we have a new constitution that has a chapter specifically which is looking at the integrity.
But just how many of these Kenyans have what it takes to provide security in a country leading in corruption, cybercrime and economic crimes?
We are coming from a tradition of police recruitment where the height and the diameter of the chest were the key pillars in terms of identification. That one is already overtaken by event. We are looking for people who can address the Al-Shabaab. We are looking for people who can understand the cybercrime. So we are looking for a new level of intelligence, a level of understanding.
This year, the Police Commission also required candidates to have a minimum of a D+ grade in KCSE, and the training of recruits was reduced to 9 months, down from 15 months.
Kwa upande wangu, sasa hivi ukiangalia Kenya watu ni wengi na wanakosa ajira. Lakini ukikuja kuangalia mzuri, inastahili watu kama hawa, kama wenye walipata D+, kama kazi imetokezea, hiyo kazi mimi naona kama wanaweza ifanya na wanaweza ifaulu kabisa.
Mtu wa D+ pia yeye anafaa, juu yeye ni Mkenya. So kitu mimi ningeonelea wangechukua tu watu wa D+, juu hao watu ndio naonanga wako strong, mtu mwenye anaweza kitolea kwenda kwa vita. Ukipata watu wenye wamesoma sana, wengine wanakuanga na uoga.
Evidently, we need to review the recruitment criteria.
It is time to readjust the recruitment criteria and ask a basic question: what do we need? Especially when we are having a national situation where we have internal challenges already very well mixed up with external challenges. I'm looking forward to that time when a first-class honors graduate can be recruited in the police. But not only the person who performs with the D or E is recruited in the police, because that gives a tendency that those who are recruited in the police are of a lower cadre. I'm looking for the best scientist, for the best nutritionist, for anybody who has the best talent to be recruited in that, because real development will come when we are addressing the issues of crime effectively.
In order to have an effective police force, one thing stands out though: whether we need to have educated police officers or muscled cops, we must eradicate corruption.
And finally, let's take some biology lessons. And flowering plants are found in most habitats, that is from deserts to forests. The shrubs, the herbs, the trees you encounter daily. But did you know that one most interesting flower plant is the world's wolfia, also commonly referred to as the watermill? It is the world's smallest. Now, with each bloom weighing about as much as 2 grains of sand, it takes about 5,000 of these teeny tiny flowers to fill a thimble, and also amazingly small when seen against the grooves in a human fingerprint. Wolfia sometimes grows in colonies that form a dense-looking mat on sheltered waters. The only way to identify the exact species of a wolfia plant or flower is to view it under a microscope. Each wolfia flower has a single pistil and stamen and produces the world's smallest fruit, called the atricle. It has no leaves, stems or roots. Floating freely in quiet fresh waters or freshwater lakes and marshes, wolfia is highly nutritious, serving as food for fish and the waterfowl in nature, and occasionally cultivated for use as livestock feed or even human cuisine. It's eaten as vegetable in Burma, Laos, and in Thailand. That brings us to the end of our broadcast. We are glad you found time to join us. My name, as always, is Zawadi Mdibo. Do have yourselves a great day ahead, and be sure to tune in at 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. tonight for more news. For now, though, let's take a look at the news highlights we had for you. Bye-bye.